Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to explain about the meaning of flow of funds, general rules, and going to analyze various transactions to find out whether they are going to result in flow of funds or not. Now first we'll see the meaning of flow of funds. Flow of funds. The term flow of funds refers to the changes in the existing financial position of a business caused by inflow of resources and outflow of resources during a particular period of time. In simple words, flow of funds refers to the change in the working capital over the period for which the flow is being analyzed. So in simple words, flow of fund means the changes in the existing financial position of a business or changes in the working capital of a business caused by inflow and outflow of funds. So there may be an increase in the working capital or decrease in the working capital, and the reason behind this increase and decrease will be inflow and outflow of funds. Next, inflow of funds. It will result in an increase in the amount of net working capital. It may be by way of issuing shares, debentures and other borrowings, selling of fixed assets, and by way of profit due to operational activities. The transactions which result in the inflow of funds is considered as a source of fund. So when the transaction result in inflow of fund, it is considered as source of fund. Next, outflow of funds. It will result in decrease in the amount of net working capital. The transaction which results in the outflow of fund is considered as an application of fund or use of fund. So all those transactions which will decrease the amount of working capital or which will result in the outflow of fund, it is considered as application of fund or use of fund. So the outflow may be of two types: external process of outflow and internal process of outflow. Under external process of outflow, it involves payment of debts, taxes, dividends, redemption of preference share, redemption of debentures. And under internal process of outflow, it is by the way of retention of funds by capitalization of resources. Now we'll see the general rules of flow of funds. So there are certain rules regarding to flow of funds. Rule number 1, working capital remains unaffected when a transaction involves only current accounts. Rule number 2, working capital remains unaffected when a transaction involves only non-current accounts. Rule number 3, working capital increases or decreases when a transaction involves a current account and a non-current account. Rule number 4, if in the transaction resulting in the flow of fund, current account is debited, it implies that there is an inflow of fund. If in the next rule number 5, if in the transaction resulting in the flow of fund, current account is credited, it implies that there is an outflow of fund. So now we'll see each and every rule in detail. Rule number 1, working capital remains unaffected when transaction involves only current accounts. So this rules states that working capital will remain unaffected, means there will be no change, okay, there will be no increase or there will be no decrease in the working capital when a transaction involves only current accounts. So only current account means it is your current asset and current liability. So current account means it is current asset and current liability. So under that case 1, both the accounts belong to current asset. Example, cash received from debtors. So in this transaction you can see that there are two aspects: cash account and debtors account. Cash received from debtors, there will be two aspects in the transaction: cash account and debtors account. Cash account is also a current asset, debtors account is also a current asset. So when the transaction involves only current accounts, then there will be no change in the working capital. So cash received from debtors, what happens to the cash balance? Your cash account will increase, your cash balance will increase. So when the cash received from the debtors, your debtors amount will be decreasing. So there will be no change in the working capital. So when both the account belong to current asset, there will be no change in the working capital. Next case, both accounts belong to current liabilities. Example, bills payable issued to creditors. So now there are two aspects in this transaction, bills payable and creditors. So both are current liability. So when the bill is issued to the creditor, what happens to the creditor amount? Creditor amount will be decreased and bills payable will increase. So there will be increase and decrease with respect to the current liability. So when one current liability has been decreased, there will be one more current liability to the equal value will increase. So there will be no change in the working capital. So it will not result in flow of funds. Case C, one account belongs to current asset and other account belongs to current liability. Example, a company pays cash to its creditors. So a company pays cash to its creditor means again there will be two types of two aspects, cash account and creditors account. So cash account is a current asset, creditors account is a current liability. So when they pay cash to the creditors, what happens? Cash balance will decrease. Similarly, the creditor amount also will decrease. So there will be no change in the working capital. So it will not result in inflow of funds. So this is about the first rule. Working capital remains unaffected when a transaction involves only current accounts. So current account means there will be current asset and current liability. So you know that in a particular transaction, in a transaction there will be two aspects. So debit and credit. So either both the aspects are current asset or both the aspects are current liability, as in these two cases. And the third case is that one item is current asset and one item is current liability. That is about the third case. So in that particular case, there will be no change in the working capital. Now rule number 2, working capital remains unaffected when a transaction involves only non-current accounts. So non-current account means it is non-current asset and non-current liability. So we are talking about long-term assets and long-term liabilities. So as in the case of current accounts, okay, so here also when both the transactions involves both the aspects involves non-current account, again there will be no change in the working capital. So first one, both the accounts belong to non-current assets. Okay, both the account means debit aspect as well as credit aspect, it belong to non-current assets. Example, company exchanged land for building. So company exchanged its land for building. So there will be no flow of fund. So it is just an exchange of land for building. Next, both the accounts belong to non-current liabilities. Here the debit aspects also will be non-current liability. The credit aspect also will be non-current liability. In that particular case also, the working capital will be unaffected. Example, debentures converted into equity shares. So debentures converted into equity shares, there will be no flow of fund. It is just an conversion of debentures into shares. See, one account belongs to non-current asset and the other account belongs to non-current liability. A company purchases land and makes payment by issuing shares to the landowner. So in this case, land is a non-current asset and shares is a non-current liability. So one account belongs to non-current asset and one more item belongs to non-current liability. In this case also there will be no flow of fund. So now the first rule is that working capital remains unaffected when a transaction involves only current accounts. Okay, so if there is current accounts in both the debit and credit side, and if there is a non-current account, that is rule number 2, in both the debit and credit aspect, then there will be no change in the working capital. Now rule number 3, working capital increases or decreases when a transaction involves a current account and a non-current account. So if both the transactions are current account, if both the transactions are current account, then there will be no flow of fund, and if there is if the both the aspects are non-current asset, that is non-current account and non-current liability, again there will be no change. Now thirdly, working capital increases or decreases when a transaction involves a current account and a non-current account. So one aspect is current account and one more aspect is non-current account, then there will be change in the working capital. So example, building purchased for cash. Now building purchased for cash. So building is a non-current account. Cash is a current account. So when one aspect is non-current account and one aspect is current account, there will be change in the working capital. Rule number 4, if in the transaction resulting in the flow of fund, current account is debited, it implies that there is an inflow of fund. So now if in a transaction, okay, which will be resulting in flow of fund, and in that particular transaction if the current account is debited, it means there is inflow of fund. Go through the example. A company issues equity shares for cash. So the entry will be bank account debtor to equity share capital account. So it will result in, see, bank account is a current account, equity share capital is a non-current account. So one aspect is current account, one more aspect is non-current account. So when the transaction involves one current account and one more non-current account, then there will be flow of fund. Now in this transaction you can see the current account is debited, bank account is debited, it means it is a inflow of fund. So this transaction results in inflow of fund. So if in a transaction if the current account is debited, it implies that there is inflow of fund. Rule number 5, if in the transaction resulting in the flow of fund current account is credited, then it is a outflow of fund. So a company purchased machinery for cash. The journal entry will be machinery account debtor to cash account. So machinery account is a non-current account, cash account is a current account. So in this case there will be flow of fund. There will be flow of fund. Now we should analyze whether there is inflow or outflow. Now to find out this thing, we need to find out whether the current account is credited. So in this example current account is credited, it means there is outflow. It means there is outflow of fund. So if the transaction resulting in the flow of fund, so our transaction must result in flow of fund, then we should see whether the current account is debited or credited. If the current account is debited, it means it is a inflow of fund, it is a source of fund. If the current account is credited, it is a outflow of fund or application of fund. So according to rule number 1, if a transaction involves both current accounts, so that may be both are current assets or both are current liability, or one is current asset and one aspect is current liability, so then there will be no change in the working capital. Rule number 2 says that both aspects are non-current account. So when both the aspects are non-current account, then there will be no change in the working capital. So non-current account means it is non-current asset. It is non-current asset or non-current liability. So if two aspects involve non-current asset, then there will be no change in the working capital. If both the aspects involve non-current liability, then there will be no change in the working capital. And if one aspect is non-current asset and one more aspect is non-current liability, again there will be no change in the working capital. And rule number 3 says that, so when a transaction involves current account and non-current account, then there will be change in the working capital. The working capital may be either increased or decreased. So when a transaction involves one current account and one non-current account. So current account, there will be no flow. Non-current account, there will be no flow of fund. So current account and non-current account, there will be flow of fund. Next, rule number 4. If in the transaction resulting in flow of fund and the current account is debited, then it is inflow of fund. And rule number 5, current account, if it is credited, then there will be outflow of fund. So in both of these cases, there has to be flow of fund. So to find out whether there is inflow of fund or outflow of fund, we should consider the current account. If it is debited, if the current account is debited, it is considered as inflow of fund. If the current account is credited, it is considered as outflow of fund. So this is about the meaning and rules of flow of funds. Thank you.